What's up guys, it's Rota here, coming at you with another amazing video on the channel. For today, we're hitting you up with the most budget deck, I think, in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. We have the £20 complete Dinomorphia Deck Profile. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe, smash the subscription button. We're aiming for 5,000 by the end of 2025. Give me a like and comment down below what you thought of this deck profile. Are there any changes you would have done, or are you pretty happy with the build I have created? Let's get straight into the deck profile.
Starting off with the main deck, we have triple of the Dinomorphia Therzia. She is your main monster, to be honest with you. You want to see at least one copy of her in your hand all the time. What does she do? Well, on normal or special summon, she's able to just directly from the deck set a Dinomorphia trap. That cannot be ashed, as it's not adding to hand, it is setting. It also cannot be Dominus purged either, because again, we're not adding, it is setting. Then if your life points to 2000 or less, this card gains 500 attack. That comes up in turns 2, 3 onwards once we've used our traps, as everything will half our life points. If this card is destroyed in battle or card effect, you can banish a trap from the graveyard and special summon a Dinomorphia from your grave, which is usually your Diplos in these types of circumstances. Speaking of Diplos, we have double of the Dinomorphia Diplos. These are all the monsters we play in the main deck. We are a heavy trap deck. We don't really want to be seeing many of these in our hand. We'd rather just be seeing traps and setting them. This is why if they Mulcharmy Forward Loss, if they just blind Forward Loss us, it is absolutely fine because we're just normal summon, set 5 pass. That's usually how we do it. If they Mulcharmy Perillia us, we'll give them 1 draw. We don't even have to do that. We can just, if we open the traps, just set and pass. So we actually do have a decent time against the Mulcharmies. Obviously, the new one's coming out soon. Doesn't really do too much against us either. They can use it when we use our Dinomorphia effect to revive from the graveyard. But at that point, they have to have no cards on the field. They can't control anything, so at that point I think we are still absolutely fine. So what does Diplos do? Well, on normal or special, he's going to be able to send a Dinomorphia card from your deck to the grave. Then if your life points are 2000 or less, you can inflict 500 damage, and he also has the same effect as Therzia, where if he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Dinomorphia from the grave by banishing a trap, and they usually special summon each other because they have to be level 4 or lower, and these are the only ones we play. Moving on to the traps, triple of the Dinomorphia Domain. This is one of our main ones actually, because during the main phase you just pay half your life, fusion summon a Dinomorphia Fusion by using monsters from your extra deck. Not from your extra deck, sorry, from your hand, deck, or field as material. The other trap is the one that does from your extra deck. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect while your life points are 2000 or less, you can banish this card and you take no effect damage from your opponent's card effects this turn. Important because we'll always be on such low life that any burn effect could kill us, so it's always important to remember these Dinomorphia banish effects in the graveyard. For our monster negation, we have triple of the Dinomorphia Intact. Super clutch that it was actually reprinted in Megatins of 2024, as this card was actually kind of expensive for a common and super, being like £2-3 each. Now they are literal pennies, and as I said in the intro, we can build this deck super like £20 builds the whole deck, and it's I think one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest viable deck that you can get in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment. So when a monster effect is activated, you can pay half your life, negate the activation, and destroy that monster, and also any battle damage you take just becomes half your life points instead, which is really important because that means they can't kill you that battle phase. And if your life points 2000 or less and you would take battle damage, you banish it and you take none. So all the Dinomorphias pay half and then have an effect in the grave to either protect you from battle or effect damage. So that is super clutch, and also this is a counter trap, so your opponent can't respond to this unless they have a counter trap of their own. Triple of the Dinomorphia Frenzy. Frenzy again is another fusion spell. It's during your opponent's main phase only this time, but it does use monsters from your extra deck as material and 1 monster from your deck. So really, really cool. Basically gives you access to your big Rexstrom for free because you just use materials from your deck and extra deck, which is amazing. And again, it just protects you from your card effects, because if you would take burn, you can just banish this card instead, and you won't take any card effect burn. For the one-offs, 1 Dinomorphia Reversion, 1 Dinomorphia Sonic, 1 Dinomorphia Alert, and one Dinomorphia Brute. Now we play one each of these ones because they're not actually as important. Brute is able to destroy one Dinomorphia you control on one card your opponent controls, and remember that would trigger your fusions and your small Dinomorphias to get their graveyard effects. Dinomorphia Alert basically just special summons your Thursia and your Diplos from the main deck because they are less than level 8. Dinomorphia Sonic is your spell and trap negate, and Dinomorphia, I forgot the name, is this Brute? No, Reversion. Dinomorphia Reversion copies the effect of one Dinomorphia counter trap in your graveyard, so you can effectively use Sonic twice, for example. Brute and Alert are normal traps, Sonic and Reversion are counter traps, as that does come up, and I will explain to you in a bit why. Well, actually, let's just explain it right now. Triple of the Trap Tantalizing Tune. A lot of people are like, yo, why are you playing this? It's actually really clutch in a deck like this because remember, we only play 5 monsters that we can normal summon, and we do play a lot of traps. Opening double of normal traps is not what we want to do, so we can basically just exchange them out and draw 2 fresh cards. It also combos very well with Trap Trick, which we play, able to put back banished trap cards into our deck to basically have a bit of grind game as well, which is really, really nice, and I just really like this card. For other spells that we play, we have Triple Pot of Duality. As I said, going first, we're never really going to special, just the normal of the monsters that we play, so this is a dig 3 cards into your deck for free. We have 1 Pot of Prosperity. Again, very good. Remember, we can't use Prosperity with our Trap Tantalizing Tune, which is a bit annoying, but Pot of Prosperity is at 1, so the chances of you seeing both aren't that likely, and it allows you to dig really deep into your deck and just see a critical card that you may need. And for the last spell, we play 1 Fossil Dig. Why we're not playing more than 1 Fossil Dig, even though Fossil Dig isn't once per turn? We don't want to be seeing multiple monsters in our hand. 1 is more than enough because we want our other cards to be traps. So that's it for the spells. Literally all the spells we play get us new cards, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And for the Dinomorphia side, that is also done because I think we play 18 Dinomorphia cards in general. They don't have any spells. We play a couple of spells, and the rest are just traps that I'll be showing you that have great synergy with the deck. So Triple Solemn Judgment, not only does it pay half your life, but it negates anything the opponent summons. The opponent activates a spell or trap, you just negate it. The only thing it doesn't do is monster effects, but thankfully we have the Dinomorphia card for that. We have Triple of the Trap Trick. This allows us to get any of our normal traps directly from the deck, and we can activate it that same turn, so it's super clutch, and also has synergy with the Trap Tantalizing Tune. Triple of the Infinite Impermanence. This is the only hand trap we play. You can cut this for budget reasons, as I believe this is the most expensive card. It's like £3-4 each. But apart from that, everything else is so cheap. You can literally get like Dinomorphia cards for pennies. I'm pretty sure you can get like the whole core for like £5 if you really look for it and use Card Market and eBay and multiple cards from one seller to save on shipping. This is a super cheap deck that you can build, and the imperms are the most expensive bit. However, if you cut the imperms, you can literally have this deck for like less than £10. It's usually £10 for like the imperm playset, and everything else is like really cheap. We have Triple Soul of the Supreme King. This card is amazing. No one seems to know what this card does. You pay half your life, you special summon a Supreme King Zark from your extra deck, and you ignore the summoning conditions. Then whenever your opponent activates a spell, you banish the Zark and this card from the graveyard, and you special summon one each of the signature Arc 5 dragons from your extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. They all have huge attack, and basically means that you can 100% OTK next turn, because you literally have like 20,000 damage on board after this card resolves, and it's really nice. And for the last 2 traps, double of the Ferret Flames. Card is broken in a deck like this. If you don't know what it does, if the combined attack of all face-up monsters opponent controls is higher than your life points, and remember you pay half very quickly, so you'll very quickly be on like 50, 25, 13 life points. You can shuffle all of your face-up monsters that your opponent controls into the deck so that it equals the same amount of attack as your life points. So effectively you shuffle their whole field, which is really nice on a normal trap. So that is it for the main deck. That is 40 cards. Let's now go on into the extra deck. Starting off with the extra deck, we have our main win condition, which is the Dinomorphia Rexstum. If you don't know what this card does, it's effectively a skill drain for every monster your opponent controls on the field that has more attack than your life points, which is fantastic. And you can also pay half your life points and make the attack of all monsters your opponent controls become equal to your life points as well. So he is very annoying to out. You usually need to kaiju him or impum him before committing all of your plays. But if your opponent doesn't have that, well, they just don't have monster effects now, which is really, really clutch. We play 3 copies because, as I said, we are a budget build. You can, of course, cut down, although I think 3 copies is fine because you do always want to have this card. Remember, you can use monsters from your extra deck as fusion material as well. We play triple of the Dinomorphia Kentragenia. I believe that's how you pronounce this card's name. This is what you usually make first before you make the Rex turn, because you can pay half your life points, copy a normal trap in the grave, and basically just gain the effect so you can fusion again, and then the Kentragenia will go into the Rex turn, which is pretty nice. And again, we play 3 copies because you will be using stuff from the extra deck as well as fusion material. And we do play double of the Dinomorphia Stealthbergia, the worst Dinomorphia. However, we play the 2 copies. We don't really make this card that much, just solely as material for our fusion summons when we do use materials from the extra deck of the Dinomorphia Frenzy. But if you want to know what it does, it effectively, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. And then all the fusions share the effect that if they are outed by card effect or battle, they will reborn a Dinomorphia from the graveyard as well. So you do have very, very good sort of follow-up, and you're kind of sticky on the board. Not only do you protect yourself from battle and effect damage, but your monsters all flow into other ones. Now we mainly just have the Zark package. So we have the 1 Supreme King Zark, and then we follow it up with the Fusion Dragon, the Odd Eyes Dragon, the Synchro Dragon, and this is sort of the Xyz Dragon. However, this one doesn't have Xyz in the name, so you would have to play a dragon that says Xyz. I just don't have a copy of that at the moment, so I'm using this as a proxy. You can use, for example, the Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. That one works perfectly fine. And basically just summon them out as big bodies. None of them do much apart from Crystal Wing, which is obviously a monster negate, which is pretty cool. And they're 3,600 attack, 4,000 attack, 3,000 attack, and I believe there's an Xyz Dragon that has 3,000 attack as well. So that's a bunch of damage that you can do off just one card by summoning Zark and then summoning these 4 for free. And for the last 2, we have the 1 Lagia and the 1 Dolka. We are a Dino deck, so we can, in some cases, when we have double Thursia, or a Thursia and a Diplo, we can make a Lagia or Dolka just for the monster negate, or again, another Omni negate as well. So that is the end of this super budget Dinomorphia deck profile. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you think of this deck in the comments. If you guys build this deck and then you find yourself having a bit more money in your budget, you can easily play the Dominus cards as well, as they are very good in the Dinomorphia and they also fit the trap theme. However, do let me know what you thought of this deck profile. Is this deck one of the cheapest or the cheapest viable Yu-Gi-Oh deck right now? Do let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.